Good morning, YouTube. How you guys doing? Hope everybody's well. Hope you're all ready for a good New Year's. I'm back with you. It's Atticus, and I have a Dark Elf vs Tomb King game for you guys. It seemed like a lot of people liked my last Dark Elf vs Tomb King video that I did, so yeah, I figured I would show you a different build and another reliable way that you could go about dealing with the undead Egyptians. So. For this matchup, I want a little bit different with my Lord choice. Usually I take a Dreadlord for crossbow, but I took Malekith on top of a cold one. So I like Malekith. He has armor piercing. I admittedly don't use him a lot. I do kind of feel like he has a very there's other lords who are better than him, and very few matchups is he should be like your first choice. But he does have really good combat stats, and his armor is it does allow you to not have to waste micro really dealing with him. And he does have a few abilities that I really like, such as you see right here, Destroyer, which will add 15 seconds to an ability recharge. And also, I took the Supreme Spell Shield, which decreases the power reserve. So pretty much all the different, all the little perks that you can. Malekith has the ability to just pretty much neuter the casting ability of your opponent. It's pretty expensive when you take that, and I don't always do, but I figured I would try it out this time. And I feel like against Tomb Kings, it really can come in handy, since Tomb Kings get a lot of benefits from casting spells. They have the talents which will heal their army every time they cast, and things like that. So being able to neuter that, I figured would give me a little bit of an advantage. For my spell loadout, I'd take Blade Wind, and I take this to deal with, since he has a lot of probably low armor shaft units like, skeleton spearmen, skeleton archers, and things like that. I feel like Blade Wind would be sufficient, to deal with that. And I just took Soul Stealer to be able to heal, so I really, cutting down on his spell loadout so that I can afford his anti-magic, his anti-winds of magic abilities. So yeah, I put him on the Cold One Knight. For my army, guys, I also take a Blades of the Blood Queen, and you know why. If you're going to take a ground-based lord, it's always good to have the Blades of the Blood Queen for their, their Guardian trait, for the ward save that will, lower the damage that he takes. Besides them, though, I just took a couple units of spears, and I put them in a formation like this. One, so these guys would absorb any Shopties and artillery pieces. And for two, to screen out from getting any, chariots and things like that. If he tries to come in, I'll have time to maneuver my forces. So yeah, you just take 4 units of spears and the Blades of the Blood Queen, and then a really heavy cav contingent, which consists of the Knights of the Ebon Claw, which are the Cold One Dread Knights that you actually control. Really, these guys are what I call the can openers. And then a couple Cold One Knights, 3 units of those guys in total, and then also. Yeah, you guessed right. 2 Cold One Chariots. So yeah, the very armor piercing. I want to have that tactical versatility and the options to be able to come in deal range damage and be able to get into melee combat if I need to. So yeah, that's my army. Very small. Really gonna be relying on the cav, and I'm really hoping that Malekith can neuter the casting capabilities of the Tomb Kings, and he did bring Cetra, which is a spellcaster, so it did work out in my favor. And if you look at him, he brought a lot of spells, and I don't actually have them all memorized, but yeah, he brought looks like maybe one, so look here, at least 4 different spells. So yeah, he was really wanting to have options, so I got lucky in that regard. So for my opponent, yeah, he took Cetra on the chariot. He also has a Casket of Souls, which is also gives him more Winds of Magic. So my ability to be able to neuter that Winds of Magic is going to come really handy, since he took that, hoping that Cetra could really dish out that DPS through his magic. A front line is just shaft units, skeleton spears. He has a couple of Necrohara warriors in the secondary line, and in the trees here is where his real killing potential is. You can see he brought 2 units of skeleton chariots and a Hero Titan, which is another unit which will raise the Winds of Magic for the Tomb King. So yeah, he's really heavily invested in having lots of Winds of Magic. So it just reinforces it. I'm just really glad I brought Malekith's abilities to neuter that, and then a couple units of a Shopti here. So let's go ahead and just start the matchup here, and yeah, we'll go ahead and just see here in the deployment phase. The initial, see what happens. So what I'm going to do, of course, since we have this long distance to traverse, is I'm going to start moving my skeleton, my skeleton. I'm going to start moving my chariots up here to try to hopefully get a little bit of damage. So, why don't we just fast forward while we're closing the gap here. I'll see if he gets any Casket of Souls. I can never say that. Casket of Souls shots. You can see over here that my chariot is going to start getting into position, and I do see he has a lot of other chariots as well. But yeah, this works handy for me since I have armor piercing, so I'll be able to bypass the armor of these different chariots right here. So yeah, we're going to get in position. We're going to start just unloading, a little bit of damage. If these guys want to actually charge me, I have a lot better combat stats, so I'm, more than okay with that. And you can see that my Cav's going to start working on a flanking maneuver here. Yeah, and you can see that we're starting to get a little early salvos off, and yeah, we're doing some pretty reliable damage. You can see over here that my opponent is going to collide his chariot into mine, but yeah, I'm going to have these two different Cav units here that are going to come and reinforce this chariot. So yeah, that's going to be an easy pick for me. And yeah, you can see the Casket of Skulls has opened up, and he is choosing to shoot on these spears. He probably wants to aim at the Blades of the Blood Queen, and I think soon here he'll start to switch. And yeah, you can see over here that my chariots are just shooting it, as they ride, just shooting these guys into the face, which is really good for me. Now I'm going to send in a I thought I was going to go into actually melee there, but yeah. Over here you can see that my Cav units have dealt with his one chariots. He's going to send some spears to try to reinforce that, but I'm just going to pull my units back, and I'm going to rely on this chariot here to provide overwatch and just deal the damage. Over here you can see that the trap is sprung. I'm going to send all my Cold One Knights into this chariot. He's going to try to reinforce it with... Let's go ahead and just slow it down here. He's going to try to reinforce it with a Ushopti and a spear unit, but I should have those guys nearly killed by the time he can actually get those guys into range. And you can see right here, Cetra is going to get a really good charge into my units. He is going to pull out, and I'm going to send Malekith here to try to nip at his heels. Over on this side, you can see that I have pulled my men back, so now I'm just using these chariots to shoot into the Ushopti. And the really good thing about this, guys, is I'm kind of splitting up his forces, which is going to mean I'm going to be able to get a surround to get into his back line, shut down, hopefully, that Casket of Souls. So let's go ahead and speed it back up here. So yeah, Malekith is going to start chasing after Cetra. And you can see, yeah, just because of Malekith's abilities, you haven't seen a lot of spells casted by Cetra's. We're going to get a really good Casket of Skulls into my... sorry, we're getting a little lag there. Into my spearmen, and the front lines are going to collide now. And yeah, so you got Malekith, you got spears, Nekahara warriors, and over here you can see that my Cold One Knights are getting attacked by these spearmen, but I decided to leave them in combat just because these guys don't have really good armor piercing. And I'm setting these spears around the side here to try to get into this Hero Titan. You can see that I'm doing another surround with this unit right here. It's going to try to hopefully get into the Casket of Souls. And yeah, I'm going to get a really good blade win off. It is going to kind of veer off into my own army, unfortunately. But yeah, Malekith is trading with Cetra right now. And my spears are either Blades of the Blood Queen are doing fine, but my spears are actually going to break. You see, he's going to cycle charge into my Blades of the Blood Queen. And yeah, that's really unfortunate. He's doing a lot of damage. But over here, you can see that the Hero Titan is dealing with my Dread Spears. Over here, I am going to start trying to pull these guys away now that we've dealt with all the large. And over on this side, you can see that we finally have gotten into the Casket of Souls. Over on this side, I am going to commit to the engagement with these Ushoptis. I have two, really heavy armor-piercing units, and he doesn't have any anti-large coming to reinforce. So let's go ahead and speed it back up here. You can see that it's really coming down to this central pocket. He still has a unit of spears, a couple of Nekahara warriors, but yeah, we're all into the back here. We're dealing with his Casket of Souls, we're dealing with his Hero Titan, and I'm starting to send my Cold One Knights to deal with that. You can see that Malekith and the Blades of the Blood Queen are just destroying these Nekahara warriors really quickly, and you can see that he hasn't been able to get hardly any spells off this whole game. My opponent is gonna be casting something. Is that a Soul Stealer that I'm casting? No, it looks like he was trying to get a spell but missed it. What's it called? Murderous Prowess is going to proc for my army, which is going to allow me to get a nice little leadership bonus and combat bonus as well. And you can see that these spears are coming to reinforce the Hero Titan. But yeah, I have the Cold One Chariots over here just giving overwatch for my units. So let's go ahead and just slow it down one more time so I don't miss anything. So yeah, you can see that this spear unit is coming to help with the main engagement. Over here you can see that I have my Knights of the Ebon Claw and my Cold One Knights dealing with the Ushoptis and the Nekahara warriors. So yeah, I really like that. It's going to be a really good engagement for me. He's trying to reinforce it with these spearmen, but yeah, it's really coming down to the central pocket right here. And you can see that Malekith this whole game has just been on the heels of Cetra, and he is going to unfortunately get a really good rear charge into my spear units. You can do a little bit of damage, but it's going to hold him up, and hopefully Malekith will be able to get here. And so every time that he does a little damage to me, I'm able to at least return the favor. You can see the Hero Titan is surrounded by Blades of the Blood Queen, spears, Cold One Knights, and a chariot. And yeah, we're just doing a lot of damage. And you can see Malekith now has pretty much caught Cetra. And yeah, we're taking him out. Malekith is a very good duelist. You can see that I got some chariots over here. We're going to provide some overwatch as well. Over on this side, you can see that, yeah, my units are at least, you know, I kind of left them in a sacrificial, you know, pocket right here. But yeah, it's keeping all those guys busy, and it's allowing me to, you know, focus as Lord. And between the spears and Malekith, we've trapped him down. The Hero Titan is, you know, being taken out, and you can see these spears were actually, my opponent wasn't paying attention, he was actually, you know, chasing those guys off the map. And you can see that my Cold One Chariots over here just shooting Setcher with their armor-piercing range. Malekith is doing them, and yeah, it's going to be another victory for the Drukies. So I think that was a really cool game. It was a short one, but let's go ahead and look at the end screen, and we'll talk about some of the keys to success for my army here. And that should be so yeah, let's go ahead and look at the end screen here. So I guess the really theme of this game, and what I want you guys to take from it, is Malekith, his abilities to neuter Winds of Magic. You know, think of it. Think of which factions and which armies benefit from some of the talents they get from when casting. Like, for example, Greenskins have abilities like I think it's the Hog Lord, Azag. Whenever he casts, gives like +9 melee attack to his armies. So if you're able to neuter his ability to cast, and all of a sudden his armies aren't getting that benefit, or also being able to neuter their ability to cast the Wog when your initial armies will collide. Or, you know, for example, maybe being able to do heals in a Wood Elf matchup, you know. Just having that those abilities by Malekith, and I feel like a lot of people don't take them, but yeah, you can see, even though he heavily invested with 2 different units here that provide him more Winds of Magic, I wasn't able to see one spell really get cast that whole game. Malekith is, you know, that is what makes him unique in my ability. Morathi has, you know, the anti-large. She has the mobility, you know, the armor piercing. Malekith has the ability to neuter magic. That's one of his defining traits. Yeah, but for the, you know, the army here, you know, the Blades of the Blood Queen just have a really good synergy with Malekith. He's on foot. Spears are plenty sufficient to deal with both Spearmen and Ushopti. And yeah, you saw how good the Chariots were doing. They were, you know, providing that AP ranged and getting the charges in. And my Cav were able to, you know, just single out each one of his Cav units and able to defend themselves when he tried to reinforce it. So yeah, this build just worked really good. I hope you guys will think about that or try it out when you do try this matchup. And yeah, give Malekith a go with, you know, his the Destroyer, and I forget what the other ability was, but the one that lowers his Winds of Magic. And for my opponent, yeah, this is a very Death Starry kind of build. Once again, I kind of got lucky with Malekith. You know, it really made it kind of pointless to have all that Winds of Magic when it's being neutered. So, alright guys, it's Atticus. I hope you enjoyed that. We are almost to 100 subscribers, guys. 100 subscribers. I feel like just like a month ago or a couple of weeks ago, I woke up and I was like 46. I'm thinking, wow, that's awesome. And now we're, you know, I'm almost getting ready to hit 100. So thank you all for your support. Hope you guys have a happy New Year's, and I'll see you next time. Stay tuned for more content. It's Atticus. I'll see you guys.